Hello, this is Lothar. This is my second video. For those of you who don't know me, I am a PCT through hiker for 2021. I started in April 18th, 2021 and finished on August 9th, so I did it in just under 115 days. My intention wasn't actually to go particularly fast, but I live and work in Southern California, so I have been very fortunate over the last 3 or 4 years to be able to section hike a large part of the southern desert, so I was very familiar with it. I was also very acclimatized to the heat, so I think that's probably what gave me a very good start, and hence the fast time. And again, it wasn't deliberate, but I felt comfortable all the way through, and I had no injuries. Now, the very big part of that reason why I had no injuries is some of the preparation I did. Now, one item in particular, which I'm going to refer to, relates to something that people kind of just generally touch on when they talk about top 10 lists of preparations and things you should do when preparing for a through hike. And this is one that I don't think is emphasized enough, so I'm going to emphasize it in this particular video. And I'm going to pull one up now, and what it is these things. And for those of you who don't know what it is, it's an insole, but it's actually called an orthotic insole. And you might think, ooh, don't want one of those. I've never ever considered them before in my hiking lifetime. I've been hiking since I was about 10, camping, going through all the scenarios of canvas, thick boots, Gore-Tex, Cuban fibre, and one of the things I've always learned is that after a bit of exercise or a hike or a camping trip, you come back with aches and pains, and you normally then have plenty of time to recover from them. Now, when I had the chance to do a PCT through hike and I got my permit, I thought, yes, I've got to do some preparation though, because I'm fit, but I don't think I'm fit for a full through hike. So what I started to do was, like anybody does, I was do a bit of cardio. I would start in the mornings. I would be on the beach with maybe a 50% weight on my rucksack. I'd do that for an hour in the morning, and I'd probably do the same thing over lunchtime for an hour, going up one of the local hills near San Diego, just to see how I feel. I was using ultra Lone Peaks. I've through the years I've used Lone Peak 3s, 4s, 4.5s and 5s, and they've always been my go-to hiking shoe. And of all the trips I've had in section hiking, I've never had any serious problems. Now, because I was preparing for the PCT, I was very well aware of the fact that I'm going to be hiking day after day after day. I would not have that same period of recovery that you'd normally get after a camping trip. So what I found after maybe about 2 weeks of my sort of training in the morning and training at lunchtimes, and also a longer hike over a weekend, was I started to get knee pain, very slight niggles and knee pains on both knees. And what happened was, or what bothered me was, it was compounding. It was each time I went out, I'd recover and then I'd get the pain again, but it would be slightly worse the next time, and then the next time. So I was making it obviously worse, and it wasn't going away. I wasn't solving it. I was managing it. So I was getting to the point where I was feeling sort of, it was like a sand grit in one of my knees, and I had a muscle pain down the side of another knee, and I was thinking, maybe I should stick to section hiking, because I'm not sure I can make a full through hike. And then, by pure chance, I saw a video by Darwin on the Trail. Now, these are one of the video sort of content suppliers on YouTube. There's another one obviously called Dixie. They're the two I like most through hikers. I think we check those out and see what they're talking about, and they're kind of our regular preparations for, say, a through hike. Now, Darwin's particular video was on the fact that he came off the trail early, and he was explaining that he came off because he'd forgotten his orthotics. He was obviously getting injured, and he said, look, I stupidly forgot his orthotics. And that's where I suddenly thought, I'd never ever considered these things. Never in my career, never even, I think they're for old people, why bother? So I thought, coming into the PCT, I have nothing to lose. My knees are getting gradually worse. I could manage it probably with straps and pads and things like that, and tape, but I wanted to address it to make sure I didn't come off trail early because of a silly injury. Now, what you do, or certainly in maybe in Europe, is you probably go to a podiatrist or a doctor and get their advice, and then they might prescribe something. Now in the US, we have a bit more options. There's like large pharmacies, and there's a big shop called Walmart, where you can go in, and on some of the big stores they have these machines where you can stand on and you sort of rock left and right on each foot, follow some instructions on screen, and it then recommends an orthotic. Now in my case it recommended a particular type, I won't say the brand, and it's a particular number for my particular gait, and I put them in my shoes. Now you have to be careful with orthotics in the fact that you don't wear them all the time straight away, so you have to wear them I think for like an hour a day for the first week, and then you build up gradually over time. Now in that first week of me using it for an hour a day, I didn't see any immediate change in my knee pain, but I started to get sort of muscle aches as I was working something in my hips. Now that's something that again I'd not experienced before, but I was obviously working some sort of muscle group that I hadn't worked before. Now I'm generally relatively fit, so I was concerned that these orthotics going to affect other things like that back and thing, but I took it slowly. I followed the instructions, and after the second week I was wearing them slightly more often. My knee pain was starting to go down. Now by chance or by skill, I don't know which, by the time I started my Thru Hike, which was 3 weeks later, my knee pain had actually gone away. I wasn't getting the knee pain anymore. My hip pain and muscles I've obviously worked something, but there was no legacy pain there either. So I started hiking my PCT. 2,650 miles later, I have no knee pain. I've never had any knee pain. I had no injuries or significant injuries whatsoever. So I can honestly say, in my particular case, having these things in my shoes probably saved my Thru Hike. Now I was very conscious of the fact when you on trail, you see people wearing knee braces and tape and things like that, and every time I saw someone like that, I'd sort of very quietly sort of say, look, you know, is this a skiing injury or something like that? And a lot of the time they'd say, oh, it's just, you know, obviously a hiking injury. And I'd ask them, you know, have you ever considered orthotics? I explained, it's not something I'd never even thought of before. And 100% of the people I spoke to said they'd never ever considered orthotics. And this is some of the people wearing 2 knee braces on, and you're thinking, good grief, you know, is this something so simple that if they take time out before they go hiking, just get it checked out. Obviously you've got to be careful, because obviously your gait, your walk, are linked to your ankles, to your back. You don't want to sort of be doing untold damage just by putting things in and playing. But in my particular case, I was relatively fit. I had no underlying medical conditions, so I had nothing to lose. I really had nothing to lose with all the injury I was suffering during the preparation. So my advice would be, if you're concerned about knee pain, if you regularly get knee pain, maybe go and see your doctor. Check it out. Just ask their advice, or a podiatrist, I think is the official term. I'm not a big fan of medical doctors. I kind of try and like to solve things myself. Maybe I shouldn't do that, but in this particular case, these solved my hike. So I also had sort of validation from the fact a friend of mine back in England is a nurse, and she was explaining, of course, yes, she's on her feet all the time. So you've got to think that every time, if you're on your feet day after day after day after day, if there's any sort of mismatch in your gait and you're walking 8 to 12 hours a day with a 30-pound backpack on your back, any sort of mismatch in your walk is going to come out, and it's going to get worse and worse and worse unless you address it. So this is hopefully something that will be useful to people in preparations. Think about it. I sometimes swap these in and out. I didn't always wear them all the time, but yeah. But I think I should also explain. Now I think this is a half length one. You can get full length ones, and really it's something that if you have time and the inclination to consider and check out, then I would certainly urge you to. That's it for the moment. I will talk a bit more about other preparation activities, but this for me, in terms of correcting your gait, I would say in any preparation, in terms of the top 10, I'd say it's 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, because if you haven't solved this, forget your kit. It's gonna, if you're not even walking straight or correctly, your kit can be the lightest in the world, you're still not necessarily going to last 2,650 miles. So it should be the top thing you check out before you go through a hike. Alright, look forward to speaking to you again. I hope this is useful, and speak to you soon. Bye bye.